And we are back, Summoners. It's the finals. It's the best part of the night. It's what we have all came here to see. The two best teams in the Week 3 Scrim Gym going at it. And it's none other than the longest standing team who has played in the most Scrim Gyms in total. It's the Five Finger Cactus Plants taking on the newcomers. This is their third time playing in a Scrim Gym. First time at finals, Spectral coming in on the blue side. I am super hyped. Wraith, what are your thoughts as we prep for this game?
I mean, seeing Spectral in Game 1 commandingly take down Embers was probably one of the most surprising things I've seen in Scrim Gyms recently. So I've got some pretty hard money on Spectral just because of their drafting skill. Outdrafting Embers is tough, man. And Five Finger Cactus Plants looked convincing in the last game, and they have looked convincing in the past, so it's definitely going to be a smackdown regardless of what happens, but I'm kind of wanting to see the new kids on the block and see what they can do, to be honest.
Well, we aren't going to worry about getting the team names considering we've already seen these players play tonight, but I'm sure we'll be talking about them as we jump into picks and bans here in just a moment. The big question for me, pick and ban number 1, highest priority of the night in this game, is Azir going to make it through this first ban phase?
Good question. The Azir was definitely a very strong pick for them, but I feel like that could be done with any sort of hyper carry in the late game. So it's more a question of who are we going to see be the main carry? Is it going to be Dunlop again like it was in the last game? Or are we going to see Miss Robinson get off of this Kiana and onto something a little bit more of a traditional ADC? And for that matter, is the Kiana going to make it through the pick and ban phase? Because the last 3 times Five Finger Cactus Plants has played on the stream, it has been the Kiana in the bot lane paired with some measure of CC-oriented support.
Right, so it might be Miss Robinson's just favorite to play this Kiana in the bot lane, but I highly doubt that it's going to come through this game, especially because it's a best of ones. It's all in this particular game, and last game didn't look the hottest on that Kiana, so very curious. So far with the Kayle and the Lee Sin, it seems that Spectral is more focused on taking some maybe other priority picks off the table. I believe Kayle was banned against Five Finger Cactus Plants in that last game, and so we'll see if Dunlop is back on that Azir or not. They had a lot of strong looking players on different champions like that Ornn in the top lane, even the Kayn in the jungle, while early game pre-transformation didn't look all that good. After getting darkened mode, made some crucial knockups, setting up the team for success.
Definitely. And the Twitch going to be banned away, that incredibly powerful late game champion taken off the table. But the Swain is going to be also banned away. So is Miss Robinson still going to go for the Kiana, even though the pair has been banned out? We will see as the first pick is coming through in just a couple of seconds, and it is going to be, we'll see.
Well, the Xayah is going to be the one locked in for Spectral, so we could get the Rakan counter-picked by Five Finger Cactus Plants, but they just played into a Xayah Rakan, and that could give them confidence enough to let that Rakan go over to Spectral. Like their respect ban against that Viger, though, Rutenium in that mid lane game number 1 played a very good Viger, very patient Viger, waiting for good people to pick off with the ultimate.
And the Karma going to be locked in. The question is it going to be the Rakan or not? Will they let it through? Are they comfortable playing into it? Because they did a very convincing job of it in the last game.
Well, the question around the Karma for me is the fact that Karma was played by Embers in game number 1, and it just got shut down so hard through so much of that game. Late game, when it finally had 2 major supportive items and the Frozen Gauntlets, was finally starting to come online and seem like it was useful in helping the team survive some of those bigger fights with those massive shields. But in the early game, it was such a struggle. It might be a Karma support paired with that Jinx in the bot lane.
Yeah, definitely. I would definitely expect it to be Karma and hope that it's Karma support. Otherwise, they could be in a pretty dire situation. As you said, the Karma top lane for Embers, while it was effective in team fights, just got stomped so hard in lane by the Aurelia that it ended up being really the leg that kind of crippled Embers' war machine, if you will. They just didn't have enough control over the Aurelia in the top side. It got so powerful that it ended up taking down most of their team compositions. What? The Yuumi? Okay. I was expecting the Rakan, but the Yuumi is going to be drafted here, so I wonder what sort of a composition Spectral is thinking of going towards.
Yeah, this is really curious. They have a lot of resets. When you're looking at Xayah's Featherstorm, Elisa's Repel, and Yuumi alone is untargetable when she's sitting on another champion. That is a lot of untargetable time for these champions to be moving around the map, or at least stationary in the case of the Elise. It kind of is just an interesting composition when you look at how much time they're able to not take any damage from the enemy team, but that means they still need to give themselves a very strong frontliner. You can see that Aurelia banned away by Five Finger Cactus Plants. They need someone in the front line that can be a tank, because someone's going to be hit. And if those people are untargetable, the Xayah, the Elise, the Yuumi, someone else needs to be there to take those hits. Maybe a Sion, maybe a Garen. We'll see as the Taliyah gets locked in for Five Finger Cactus Plants. Heavy roam, most likely play to the mid lane.
Yeah, and I would expect that to be roaming maybe down toward bot side. If Jinx gets ahead, I think that could definitely spell the end of the game very easily. Jinx, while we haven't seen it much in Scrim gyms, it's been all about the Xayah in the last few weeks. There were a couple of Scrim gyms in a row where Jinx was pick or ban in every single game for 2 weeks straight. So Yuumi Xayah and Jinx facing up against each other in this game. We'll see who is the greater AD carry and who is the greater pilot. But at the moment, Miss Robinson going to be hovering. It's going to be the Malphite hovered and locked in. So that could be the AP Malphite in the bot side or the Malphite in the top lane. We've seen AP Malphite on a couple of occasions so far in that bottom lane. And just once it gets access to damage, or pardon, not in the bottom lane, in the mid lane. Once it has access to damage and gets a little bit of a lead, it's just disgustingly potent as to how much burst damage it can dish out in just that one moment. Gertie going to lock in the Mordekaiser now, most likely once again for that top side, anticipating that Malphite is going to be that top lane player, and Malphite loves building armor, so putting him up against an AP top laner like Mordekaiser, I do not like that at all. I actually really don't like that at all.
That's a the Pantheon top lane is what I'm expecting at the moment.
I hope it's Panth mid and Mord top, because if it's not, then yeah, Mord top. Then I mean, Pantheon just gets destroyed by Malphite. But I hate Pantheon as a champion in this. Like, he's not very strong.
But
in
he
general.
can go untargetable too. With that ultimate, he goes way up into the Summoner's Rift to Sky, where you basically you've got hit him. Good.
You've got 3 untargetable champions.
4.
And Xayah's going to be the one tanking.
Yuumi,
Genius.
If Yuumi is on someone, Xayah, Pantheon,
four
and Elise all use their untargetable abilities, and Mordekaiser selects one of the enemy team to grab and take to the Shadow Realm. The other 4 on Five Finger Cactus Plants literally have no one to hit, because everyone is untargetable. But we are locked in on these picks and bans. We have the bet going right now if you're in the Twitch chat and want to bet on which team you think is going to come out with the victory. The main thing I'm seeing from Five Finger Cactus Plants that I love is the Malphite, and the reason why is because his ultimate, especially mid-game, is on a fairly short cooldown, and he can use that as a guarantee, either punish on the enemy team for not responding fast enough, or taking away one of those big spells to avoid damage, the untargetable spells, like the Xayah ultimate with the Featherstorm. It basically says, look, Xayah, you either have to ult to avoid being hit. If your ult is down, or you simply don't click fast enough, you're dead.
Yeah, and the thing is, on this composition here, I like Five Finger Cactus Plants a lot more than I like the side... pardon, I was about to call them Defiant. Spectral. On the side of Spectral, I was enjoying the draft up until the point they picked Pantheon, just because he falls off so hard in toward that late game when you're dealing with a Jinx as the main carry on the other side. I feel like Jinx is easier to carry with from the bottom lane ADC role, and I'm anticipating seeing Miss Robinson on something that's not off meta. We've seen her play this off meta stuff for a couple of weeks, but as I remember, her ADC on meta stuff was pretty on point. So I'm looking forward to the ADC duels in the bot side. Also, you have kind of roaming mid laners. Taliyah, Pantheon both have ultimates that can take them to other lanes. So maybe that was the point of the Pantheon draft. Following the Taliyah's wall with Grand Skyfall might be the idea behind it. I still don't like it unless he gets other lanes ahead. There's just so much early game. The Pantheon Elise are both all-in early game champions, and I don't like the draft so far.
Yeah, I think that the Pantheon is that the ability to roam with the Taliyah, and you called it exactly right. Is that Taliyah is a fast-roaming champion. She wants to clear the wave and then head somewhere else, and Pantheon being able to ult across the map, especially being in that mid lane, kind of like a Galio, but brings a little bit more damage. And the other reason that I do like it is because the guaranteed stun, the guaranteed point-and-click CC, especially on something like a Jinx that doesn't have that ability to avoid all targetable damage, doesn't have any spell shields. They didn't have a Morgana in this game. Yeah, Karma shields are nice, but you point and click CC Jinx, follow up by the Elise Cocoon, the Xayah Roots, Yumi's ultimate. There's so much chain CC from Spectral that they would just roll a fight. Now, what I don't want to see them is take a straight 5v5. Because a straight 5v5, they're not going to win. The rockets out of Jinx, the AoE from Taliyah, it's just not going to work. Malphite ultimate, all those things are very scary. But if you can kind of slow initiate a 1v1 into a 2v2, into a 3v3, and slowly just kind of pick people off as you're rolling through a long, extended fight, you've got opportunities for Elise to burst, wait for her cooldowns to come back up, for Pantheon to find those stuns and chain the CC. And I still think Spectral has a really good chance to win this game.
Yeah, it just depends on how this early game gambit works out. The Elise and Pantheon, as I was saying a second ago, all in on the early game, and if it pays off, if they get the Xayah fed and they get the Mordekaiser rolling between the two of them, what I don't want to see is them grab kills for themselves. It's very tempting when you're playing that sort of an early game champion that does so much damage in the early game to just snowball yourself. But the thing is that gold loses efficiency as the game goes on just because the kit isn't quite as powerful. So I want to see them donate kills over to their more late game oriented champions with the Mordekaiser and the Xayah. Don't give any kills to Yuumi, please.
Oh no, it's carry AP Yuumi. Don't you know it's the new meta? You go Frozen Mallets where auto attacks slow. You go Rabadon's Death Cap for AP, Luden's Echo, so her Prowling Projectile procs Luden's and bounces around, and you go Riley's Crystal Scepter for the extra slows. Infinite slows. Forever slowed. Everyone's 100% slowed.
Sounds so irritating.
All right.
Yuumi in general is just an irritating champion. I've said it before, I've said it 1,000 times. I don't like the concept of a champion where your support can lock in Yuumi and then go order some, go drive out and get some pizza and still be okay.
I enjoy playing her. That's all that matters. I'm going to leave betting open just a little bit longer for you guys that are in the Twitch chat if you want to bet on these teams, because there's a couple of you that are fairly opinionated, but we're into game number 3, and there's no pause, at least so far. Fingers crossed, let's not jinx it. Jinx because she's in the game. Spectral taking on Five Finger Cactus Plants. Only one team can come out as this week's champion, and we'll see which one it is after this game. Nice Jinx chroma, by the way.
Yeah, and I'm definitely thinking that to start the game, Five Finger Cactus Plants have the advantage. I like their draft better, but that doesn't mean anything, as draft is only the starting point and the build. Hold on, Dunlop in trouble, forced to blow flash at level 1.
Now Rotaria might be flashing as well. Okay, he's just walks out half health, able to hit that recall and back away. My camera is actually focused on Yuumi with a nice skin as well. But that flash for Dunlop in that mid lane may mean that Citizenship targets that very early on.
Yeah, that's actually a huge deal, though. Because in that situation, Talia doesn't have a lot of mobility. Granted, she can peel herself, but before level 6, she doesn't have a lot of mobility. So, all in all, the point-and-click stun from Pantheon in combination with Elise's Cocoon, that could very easily spell death. And so Talia's going to have to kind of sit under her turret and farm for the next 5 minutes to keep herself from getting picked on and killed really early in the game.
Now we'll see how this Xayah and Yuumi fare in the bottom lane. Yuumi just going to be chilling with that Xayah for a while. Now, one big thing is that if this Karma finds a good tether onto that Xayah, could spell a little bit of difficulty for Gertie in that bottom lane. Dunlop taken down about half in that mid lane. Pantheon starting a nice lead and didn't even pop the corrupting potion when he went in.
Meanwhile, in the bot lane, level 2 is going to be hit at right about the same time, so no all-in going to be had there. We haven't seen top lane because top lane's boring and nothing interesting ever happens up there until the junglers get there. I'm flaming all of the top laners in chat, I'm sorry. And we're to top lane, and yes, nothing's happened. Back to bot lane. Miss Robinson farming up, and in the mid lane, let's take a look at the potions real quick, Jake. 2 stacks of Corrupting Pot versus 3 stacks of Corrupting Pot. Little CS lead for the Talia at the moment. Nothing interesting really happened there. Just a 1 pot lead for the Pantheon off of that level 2 all-in.
Yeah, now we haven't seen yet the Malphite go something significantly AP or AD or just straight tank. However, he is sitting on that Comet, which favors the Malphite being that AP route. As Kayn is around the corner in this mid lane, has the red buff, but it's a pretty long walk to try to jump onto that Pantheon, who heads towards that bottom side. Quick update as well, it is a Wind Drake in a minute and a half to start the game off, so not nearly as fun as something Infernal.
Yeah, we've had a lot of boring Drakes this game, to be honest. We've only seen 1 Infernal the whole time. Citizenship going to be caught out in the jungle here.
Spice Kimchi turning it around. He might actually be going down. There's the reset from the Elise. They're looking for Dunlop next. They're actually not going to fight the kills. They're trying to back away, but Citizenship forced to flash away. There's the zap out of the Jinx with the Cocoon in return. There's the Xayah and Yuumi coming up from behind as well. Miss Robinson should drop. They've gotten another one. Spectral is taking down members left, right, and center. Mr. Noise, the next target, as a spear over the wall. Grabs it for the Pantheon. It's a double for him. A 3-for-1 in total trade, and Spectral is on the board.
And there is the power of the roam, Jake. Even though they were further away from the fight, Spectral manages to get there first, and Pincer. Now, remember what I said. The way that they are going to win this game is by capitalizing on these 2 picks. Citizenship on the Elise and Rutinium on the Pantheon in the early game. They have to capitalize during their very narrow windows of power, so they're roaming together and they're making it happen. The CC from the point-and-click stun on Pantheon straight into the Cocoon from the Elise. So much crowd control that they put down there, and then they just end up removing Kayn from the situation. Spiked Kimchi didn't really even have a chance to fight back. And Dunlop doing his best in that fight, manages to land a 2-man knockup into the Unraveled Earth. And that was...
Playing that mid lane, Cocoon is going to land the burst from the early game. Elise takes down Dunlop. Still punishing this mid laner for not having flash. It's still on cooldown from the early game. Molan acts in a bit of trouble in the top lane. Mordekaiser's going to drop because Kayn comes spicing his way in, picking up that kill. So it's finally a second kill for Five Finger Cactus Plants. But they're just desperate to find these small pickups across the map.
And that's going to be Malphite getting the ability to go back and pick up some items, and I anticipate us seeing him pick up some tankiness here, I'm hoping. Yeah, and it's going to be a little bit of a nod toward that side. Gertie going to be picking up this Elemental Drake right here. The Wind Drake going down. But it's going to be a tanky Malphite in the top lane, which I'm very, very happy about. Well, if he had been the AP route, I would have been very disappointed.
While the Wind Drake is nice for Spectral, it's even more nice taking it away from the Karma on the side of Five Finger Cactus plants. Because when the entire team has a Wind Drake or two, and then Karma speed boosts them as well, it's like a free ghost for every member of the enemy team. They're so fast, so quick on the engage, and so being able to remove that from the arsenal Five Finger Cactus plants is nice for Spectral, and they might be a good contender for coming in and winning their first gym. They've been able to make it out of the first round as they are looking so good starting off this game, but they need to keep the pressure up. Pantheon, 20 CS lead over Dunlop in that mid lane, who finally has his flash back.
Yeah, but do remember, of course, that this team that has been drafted, this is an all early game composition. What is most annoying in game is when your team starts to tilt when they're playing a scaling composition. You have a Jinx, and you have the Malphite, so you're going to have good team fight. Meanwhile, you're just racing the clock at this point, waiting for the Pantheon to fall off, waiting for the Elise to become a little more irrelevant. A good ward right there as Elise is going to try and sneak into this brush here. Then that ward is going to spot her out as soon as she walks forward.
Now, Citizenship is holding on. It might be, yeah, they've got an entire wave crashing. Well, so is the one from Spectral as well, so things might stall out for just a moment. Karma taking a step forward. Elise is going to be
there
seen.
It is.
Good use of that Oracle lens just to catch that Citizenship, who might not even know that she was seen. There she goes, finally channeling that recall.
Yeah, steps out of the lane, just going to walk back into the jungle. So that's a solid, 45 seconds burned off of the jungler's time there. Gertie going to run forward, get rooted up twice.
Citizenship coming back on, and maybe throw out the cocoon, but there's a lot of minions in the way. Yeah, able to escape from Five Finger Cactus plants.
That's even more time wasted because really nothing was accomplished down there. And still sitting down here, Citizenship falling very far behind of his opposite number right now on this early game Elise. Over 10 CS down, and that is jungle farm, not just lane farm. So it's a substantial amount of CS dropped.
And you can see the concept, though, from Elise. As we get a little skirmish from the top lane, I don't know that it's going to mean all that much. Obliterate, yeah, more just touches a little bit of damage off the Malphite. But, well, hold on. Talia ganking that bot lane. That's not going to be enough with the rock throw. Gertie still able to walk away for now. Yeah, it should be a pretty easy, simple walk away escape. Hold on, Gertie actually has to use the Feather Storm because the damage coming out was way more than they thought it was going to be. Cocoon going to land onto the Karma, given over to the Xayah to pick up the kill. And now Spice Kimchi down here. We'll see what he can do. Has that ultimate, going to jump into the Pantheon, but will probably die as soon as he hops out. 2 more kills going back to Spectral. Make it 3 as the Talia also died with Pantheon ganking in the bot lane. We talked about his ability to follow the Talia's roam, able to do just that. They're taking the Blast Cone over, looking like Spectral wants the ninja as well. Pantheon gets her with a point-and-click CC. It's an 8-0, 4,000 gold lead start for Spectral.
Yeah, and it's Citizenship and Rutinium all over the place. It's exactly what they needed to do with these champions, and they are doing it so very well. Right now, they're shutting down the scaling composition. It's only 2 kills on the side of Five Finger Cactus plants, and there's a point of no return where they're so far ahead that it's unrecoverable. The question is, can they reach that point before Five Finger Cactus plants start to scale?
And we just saw last game, Five Finger Cactus plants come back from a 4,000 gold deficit. So it's not impossible for them, even if they do fall behind, because they are now 4,000 at the 10-minute mark. The difference is that was 4,000 at 25 minutes. This is 4,000 at 10 minutes into the game. They have barely started to get their first items in those inventories, and they're already hurting. Now, Talia doesn't have the ultimate, but is down here. So is Elise, though. Could be another 3 for 3. Wait, no, Jungler is going to come in as well. It's going to be yet again a 4v4, but the TP coming in for the Malphite as well. We'll see what he can actually do. Kane hopping in. Doesn't find the knockup just yet. Pantheon finding a stun. There's the Malphite ultimate. They've got the Elise. 1 drop down. Five Finger Cactus plant striking back. Get 2 members by bringing all 5 down here. They can roam and try to grab the next Drake. An Ocean Drake coming up in just a couple of seconds. The Pantheon and Yuumi still down here defending the spot lane turret, so no plate's going to be given over, and they might even try to push them away from the dragon.
Yeah, I think that might be a little ambitious. You do have Ruthenium.
No, they're going because they got the final chapter from the Yumi. Rooting up multiple members. Kane will actually drop to the final chapter. Pantheon's picking them all up. He's going to go dominating. Triple kill for the Pantheon. Excuse me, it's a double for each Pantheon and Yumi. They're turning onto the Ocean Drake. What a play by Ruthenium and Snowsong.
Yeah, I can't... That was an excellent play by Ruthenium, no joke. However, I have to question the decision-making from Five Finger Cactus Plant. As soon as that started up, they should have gone and just turned onto the essentially solo member there and taken him down. He only had 1 health bar, and there were 4 members there. Hold on, there's a little bit of a fight here, and the Death Realm is dropped.
We'll see if Sadaharu is able to walk his way out of this one. Playing around that range. Obliterate drops him so low, but he's able to live. And he's actually walking back forward with 200 health, trying to bait the Mordekaiser to step forward again because there's a Talia roaming up here, but so is the Elise. There's that wall. Weaver's wall coming out from the Talia. Can she actually save her teammate? The flash from Malphite. He is out. Dunlop is in, but the shield coming through from Mordekaiser's Obliterate will also make sure that Dunlop has to back away. Both jungler and mid lane are showing up in the top lane. 2v2, no one dies.
Yep, super exciting. That's what you want to see. Nobody dying. Anyway, no, but in the top side, there's a lot of plates dropped. The same thing can be seen in the bot side. 3 plates still standing. 2 plates still standing on the bot and top sides respectively. And means a huge lead. It is coming through for the side of Spectral right now, and you have 7-0.
Hold on, they stunned up Spice Kimchi. I don't think this Kane's going to be able to make the escape. He's got the 2-man knock-up, low health, but he's actually cocooned while walking through the wall, and he will drop. Rift Herald was also dropped into that top lane, which means that is 1 turret, at the very least, first turret of the game going over to Spectral. They get the Shelly Slam into the second one, but back away, saying they got better things to do on the map. They can pressure mid lane now. There are still turret plates up and available for another 30 seconds. And they're not really in a position to capitalize on any more of them. The thing that Five Finger Cactus Plants are doing wrong right now is they keep trying to start fights. Like, they keep going for these plays when their opponents step toward them, like right here. Right here, Mr. Noise is gonna drop. It's not even them stepping forward, it's them being caught out. Spectral with the roaming, with the grouping. They play Ember style, but they play it so much faster. They are 14-4 in kills. They are looking to dive the bottom lane turret while plates are still up. Finally, the plates go down, but they have brought all 5 members into this bottom lane. They could look for a big old dive, but Malphite is here. He gets the jump onto the Elise and the Pantheon. Looks like Elise's repel will survive for just a little bit longer. She drops it down. Goes golden, delaying even longer. Mordekaiser is here. The feather storms out from the Zaya, forcing the flash from the Talia over the wall. Pantheon's chasing in. Spice Kimchi is hiding underneath the turret. Ruthenium may have actually stepped a bit too far forward. He is going to get rooted up, but he's not dead just yet. Finally goes down. Karma picks it up. Spice Kimchi going through the wall of the summoners.
Why are they
trying to take down Gertie, but he will drop. And now the Mordekaiser's going to fall, pushing the rest of the members away. In the end, a 2-4-2, but the turret is still under fire from Gertie and the Yumi. Elise, just bursts down Carmen. No chance for her to shield and survive a little bit longer.
She doesn't have anything
she's going to repel and survive. No turret shots coming through. The root under the Jinx as well. Mr. Robinson, can the Jinx make the play? She's now running away. No flash, no heal. That's the Predator Prowl slowing her, and Gertie will take another kill. A extended ace from the side of Spectral, and they are just showing complete dominance this game.
And Five Finger Cactus Plants fell apart in that fight. They had it on 3 occasions. They had the shutdowns onto both Citizenship and onto the Pantheon, who did end up falling. Ruthenium giving over a 700 gold shutdown, but it went over to the Karma. And I have to say, Miss Robinson played that way too safe. There was the situation in the bot side when Pantheon was basically solo against 4 members, and they were running away from him. Everybody was full health, full mana, and they were running away, where they could have just turned on that Pantheon with all of his spells down, blown him up, and then used the Jinx, get excited, plus the Karma Mantra Shield to go forward and finish off the Citizenship, who had just blown all of his skills. It was just a lack of mechanically thinking about what was available for these champions, because when Routinium skills are down and when Citizenship skills are down, then they are incredibly vulnerable, especially once Elise's Repel has been used. On a couple of occasions in that fight, she came down, and she should have been zeroed out at the beginning of that, to be honest.
Right.
But doesn't manage to happen. But an incredibly misplayed fight winds up in a much more demanding lead. Hold on, we've got a...
well, engaged, it's disengaged. Elise popping the Talia, joined by the Gertie as well as Snow Song in that mid lane. Find themselves the Talia. The top lane Malphite was forced to use his ultimate to be able to escape. Spice Kimchi throwing out that smite, but Blast Cone takes Pantheon over the wall. He is safe. Infernal Drake, third Drake of the game to Spectral, as they are just keeping time with every Drake spawn, picking it up. A bit of a 3v2 fight in the top lane. Make it a 4v2 because Karma is joining the side of Five Finger Cactus Plants. Can they make something happen as Molin Axe might be in a bit of trouble? He's going to fall, but that is small pickings from the side of Five Finger Cactus Plants. And as you're saying earlier, that Elise surviving so long in that bottom lane fight was just not right. Should not be allowed to happen. The target selection and the shot calling from Five Finger Cactus Plants struggling this game. Jinx, Zap, not going to do that much to delay the engage out of Spectral. The Yuumi final chapter. Locking up Kane, and he will drop. Citizenship chasing forward on Mrs. Robinson, but the TP coming in from Sadaharu now has to flash the wall to get out and still goes down. Elise Zanya staying alive, healing a massive amount back up with those Yuumi heals, coming back up alive, picking up the Talia for a 6th time this game. What happened to Five Finger Cactus Plants? Because this is not the team we just saw play game number 2.
Yeah, I think they got their mental state a little bit shaken. They got set down so strongly in the early game after Talia had to blow her flash and then get picked on for most of the laning phase, then Pantheon roam, bad fights in bot side. I think it's just gone to their head now, because Five Finger Cactus Plants is a good team. They play well, but I don't know if we've ever seen them play from this far behind before. Meanwhile, Citizenship and Routinium cannot be understated. I was saying I didn't like these pickups, and there was only one way for them to use them well, and they have done exactly what they needed to with these champions.
Look at Citizenship surviving so long, using the Repel, jumping to minions to just draw Five Finger Cactus Plants in for the chase. Then the TP from Molin Axe to come in as well. Just making sure that the Elise gets out. Everyone's hitting those recalls because Baron is up in a minute. Now keep in mind, this is a first spawning Baron in a minute. And we are a 10,000 gold lead from the side of Spectral. 3 Drakes up, and they had the Rift Herald. They have had complete control of this whole game.
Yep, and it's not quite a perfect game in terms of actual deaths, but it's pretty close because all the turrets are still standing. All the objectives have gone the way of Spectrum right now, and it's just 7 deaths on the board. Spectral is looking terrifyingly powerful, and
Mr. Noise Shields keep us alive long enough to actually flash away the Yuumi, trying to fight her with the Prowling Projectile. Not going to be enough. Kane hopping out. He's hopped over the wall. The mobility on this champion, able to get into escape for now. Citizen flashing forward, forcing flash for flash with the Cocoon coming in. Spice Kimchi dashing away, but Elise is still chasing. Elise has gotten the kill. They're looking for the Malphite, who has to ult defensively yet again. This is not what you want to be doing on a Malphite. You want to be engaging. Citizenship unhappy with not getting the kill on the Karma earlier, making sure to get the kill this time around. Downlop drops yet again. The Talia is nothing but a punching bag for the members of Spectral. Who needs Baron when you can pick up even more kills? Finally, they ping it out and head that direction.
Yeah, and I said there's a point of critical mass where you're so far ahead that it cannot be recovered, and I think we've reached that point, Jake. Citizenship and Routinium are so far ahead that the entire team, or pardon me, the entire enemy team is so far behind in gold, in items, that they just don't have, and neutral objectives for that matter, they just don't have any prayer of actually coming back unless somebody goes AFK or they just throw a huge fight. Like, I'm talking a clean ace with Baron and Elder available. That could theoretically bring Five Finger Cactus Plants back into this, but I don't know, man. It's looking rough.
The main thing is they gotta stall without dying for another 15 minutes. Get the Jinx to something like 4 items, get Malphite, 3 more tanky items, and maybe find the perfect engage, picking somebody off, because they can't take a 5v5. Even after 15 minutes, they still couldn't take a 5v5, but maybe they can pick one target off. They might actually be able to pick the Pantheon. Good seismic shove to initiate, but there's a Yuumi just healing him back up. Not too concerned. Sadahara in trouble. Malphite might have to ult defensively yet again over the wall. Pantheon still chasing forward. He's going to look for the stun. He's got it, but he's after the wall of the Talia. Can they group in time? Final Chap just zoning away. 5 Cactus Plants as they're looking to re-engage. Titanium goes gold and survive for a bit longer. They've blown up the Talia yet again. Spice Kimchi is left out to dry. Mordekaiser says, I want him all for myself, and he will take him down. Obliterate almost enough to finish him off, and he actually dashes to survive a little bit longer, but there's the Pantheon setting up Mordekaiser to pick up the kill that he rightly deserved. They could go for the Windrake, but it looked like they're just going to push with the Baron buff.
Yeah, just take down this turret, take down the inhibitor. If they wanted to, they could roam mid after that. They've got a wave there. Or they could probably just brute force their way into the Nexus. I'm expecting them to roam mid following this. Either that or reset. But judging by the way they've been playing, I'm expecting mid.
Seems to be the place where they go. Get that cocoon down. The claw pulling back the karma. Just forcing Mr. Noise to burn through that health and shield.
Meanwhile, they're roaming. They also have the waves pushed top lane, so I think they might reset here, though. They've been on the map for a while, unless they get a holy mess.
Oh my God.
Dunlop just chunked completely out by 2 spells plus the cocoon from Elise. Citizenship just dealing so much damage. There's nobody who can really take that.
Malphite ulted aggressively, but Rutanium doesn't even die. He's going to turn things around, get the sun right back. You knocked me up, I knocked you down. You are gone. Spear into the back of the 5 Cactus Plants is there, now running away. Top lane, second tier turret is already gone. Rutanium looking for the next target. Spice Kimchi getting the knock up to delay things a little bit longer. The grouping of Spectral, they have not reset yet. They're getting these lanes pushing in. They've got supers crashing into bot lane. They might be looking to just draw that noose a little bit tighter as they're waiting for those next waves to crash, keeping these canyons alive as long as possible.
Yeah, as long as they manage to crack another inhib, I think that's the end of the game. Granted, I think the game is over already, but at that point, they can just wait for supers and stand there AFK and let the supers destroy the enemy nexus. I don't think that 5 Finger Cactus Plants have the wave clear necessary to deal with Baron super minions at this phase of the game.
Everyone on Spectral is sitting on 1,300 gold or more as they're just continuing to push these objectives, looking for the next inhibitor turret in this top lane. They got the inhibitor in the mid lane as well, so they are just letting the cannons do their thing. They've got another wave coming in, but the Baron is actually going to fall off. So without that Baron, they do decide to go ahead and hit those recalls.
Yep, going back now, getting gonna be in that reset pattern, spend all of the obscene amount of gold that they just got on each of their members. It is 51,000 gold to 34,000 gold. That is a lead. 17,000 gold in the lead is Spectrum. New kids on the block, new to the Scrim gyms, but coming in as a complete favorite in each of their games. They've been the underdog, but in this game, they have proved their worth and proved their mettle so far, taking down another Drake just to say they've got it all. And they're going to be taking it top lane, knocking down the inhibitor turret, and then probably headed right toward the Nexus.
Yeah, they came in as underdogs, and they look to be leaving as absolutely uncontested top dogs because they have looked so good, and their aggression seems to be faster than any other team we've seen in these Scrim gyms. So it'll be spicy to see who plays against them next week. Flash for flash burn, just forcing that flash out of the Jinx was the target. Miss Robinson taking a bit of a beating there. Mordekaiser taking the Malphite into the next other round, so he does have his ultimate available, but he can't charge it. in time. He's going to be taken down. The jumping forward to get the final chapter, rooting up members of 5-Figure Cactus Plants as they try to push them onto the fountain, kill them off before they actually get there. Last inhibitor will fall. Spectral looking to finish the game off with every single structure going down. They've grabbed the first Nexus turret. Next Nexus turret will drop as Spice Kimchi running through the Nexus itself to heal himself back up a little bit longer. 5-Figure Cactus Plants making the desperation play, trying to save the Nexus, but it's not going to be enough. Mordekaiser's focusing on it. The Talia finally shuts down the Elise, but gets shut down yet again herself. And the game will end with Spectral dominating 33 kills to 8. A fantastic close to an insane Scrim Gym.
Yeah. And wow. That was a dominant game from the new guys coming in today. I can't wait for the interview, Jake. I can't wait to hear what their philosophy coming into these games were and how did they deal with, you know, kind of being expected to lose. I know that's not a really big thing, but having some people watch you and have everybody going, you know, these guys are probably going to get their butts handed to them, can mess with your mental a little bit, but apparently not for Spectral Gaming right now because they managed to absolutely wipe everybody. Their strongest competition in the first game, SPK Embers, who very
I think Wraith is breaking a little bit. And yeah, Molin Axe, there is a post-game interview. If you guys would do the honor of jumping into the Excellency General voice chat, we'll get that post-game interview going with you guys. I'm not sure what happened to Wraith's Discord as it kind of got eaten by the internet. Hopefully he'll be joining us here in just a moment. But yeah, it actually completely disconnected. So hopefully that's not me. I still seem to be connected. I still seem to be good. So let me jump into the Excellency General chat where it looks like we've got a bunch of people jumping in. Is it just Robo Jake for me? No, it is. You were Robo for sure. So yeah, it seems like Jake is fine. So yeah, we're gonna get a post-game interview with the winners.
Soon, none will question us.
We're giving just a minute for the side of Spectral to jump into the general chat. Look like Nick's Snowsong and Rutanium are there. Miss Robinson here as well. Miss Robinson, if you don't mind, give me just a second. I'm gonna actually pop you into the into another channel, and then we'll pull you in afterwards because I actually want to try interviewing the.
No, get me out of here, dude. That's
okay. All right. Have a good night. Thank you. I'm so sorry. I just messaged the wrong person.
Care.
Apologies. Good game though. All right, so we have ourselves, Wraith has rejoined us. Hopefully his mic will work a little bit better now. We have ourselves Rutanium and Snowsong in the Excellency Discord for the post-game interview. Fellas, how was this victory? How do you feel after this victory? Because this is your third time playing in a Scrim Gym.
I feel tired.
I'm a little shaky, kind of numb.
Shaky, kind of numb.
I think it feels very good because it's good to mention that the previous gyms we've done, we've always lost game one. And it felt very bad because there was no way to get back in the finals if you lose game one. And I feel like this time we got a bit more prepared. And just winning game one against the winning team just gave us the conviction to make sure we push through the end.
Well, that was kind of the thing, was that you took down Embers, the team that has been so dominant these last 2 weeks, and even previous to the reroll, was one of the top dogs, rivaling Sway GG and Starstorm, some of the best teams in this group. You guys have absolutely stamped your position as another team to contend with after taking them down, but let's talk about that game one for a minute because it was very back and forth. There were some times that, 2,000-3,000 gold swings back and forth between the two. Were you ever really questioning whether or not you had that game?
Well, just from the beginning of the game, I was a bit confused because my Gragas told me he had Mastery 7 and he didn't. And so I was a bit confused because our jungle didn't have the Mastery that I thought he had on the Gragas, but he did very good in the end. And we had the skill income. We had the Vigar, and the longer the game goes that we're even, the more chances we have of winning. And the Karma being shut down and being so far behind meant that we also had like a free lane in the top lane, having a lot of pressure. And so we just played around the forces, just scale, played it very slow. We lost a few things, but as long as the game kept even, we knew we had it in the end.
And I wanted to comment on how well the Gragas played in the late game. Like you said, you brought up the fact that the early game ganks were a little bit iffy, but toward the late game, the barrels were clutch to separate the composition that they had set up, just kind of that death ball. Jarvan jumps in, and then everything gets piled onto the people who get caught in the Cataclysm. Very well played to disrupt the follow-up from that Gragas. So was that why you guys drafted that pick in particular? Was that what you were planning to do, or was it just happenstance?
We really wanted to have something with disengage to make sure we don't get early game pressure too hard on us. Because we had a very good scaling comp with the Vigar, and we wanted the jungler that could help us disengage. And I feel like it really helped a lot of the team fights. The Gragas, like you said, disrupted the fights long enough for us to get back in it and do a lot of damage.
Well drafted, then. It's very few teams that we've seen actually outdraft Embers in the first phases. And it's nice to see another team coming in with a plan in the draft, and with a little bit of reactive drafting is what we really like to see. So congratulations and good job, guys.
And even more so, you guys played a late game scaling with a Vigar in the game number 1. Now, we didn't get to see your game number 2. We'll leave that as a little bit of a mystery. But game number 3, you ran a early game comp when it came to that Pantheon and Elise. So you guys seem to be able to play a wide variety of champions, a wide variety of play styles. And looking forward to seeing what you guys have when it comes to future games. Hopefully we get a nice bit of a Embers versus Spectral rematch next week's game. Are you looking forward to that?
Yeah, for sure. I think this is something that is really challenging for us. A lot of teams here are super good. Like you said, the Embers matchup was super close. It's really good practice for us.
Yep.
All right. Anyone else? Gertie, Snowsong, we haven't heard your voice yet. Any thoughts on tonight's games?
All in all, I was just really impressed by game 1. Now, obviously, game 3 was a little bit of a stomp. I really wanted to comment on the fact that early game composition. I'm always skeptical whenever a team drafts an early game composition on the stream. It's just it's common to see the later game scaling compositions be the more victorious ones. So seeing you guys so effectively play toward your win conditions, both in game 1 and in game 3, and either be entirely early game dominant or play to disengage and win late game, it shows me that you guys have a good grasp of the meta, and I look forward to seeing you in next week's games and hopefully in many weeks to come.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
All right. Well, guys, I did want to give Gertie and Snowsong a chance. If you had anything you wanted to shout out or say before we end the interview, we'd love to hear from you guys.
No, I mean, I didn't really do a whole lot. I was our late game insurance, just to be there in case, the rest of the team fell down. I just had to stand around. Every fight we had, I was just hitting towers and structures, so...
I kind of felt like that as well. Like, I was just there to kind of, like, assist everything. Like, in game 1, I was the Alistar, so I was there to try and displace Jarvan and the engage there from the Cataclysm. Or I was there assisting with the engage or, like, control of their team. And in the third game, as Yuumi, I was just there to try and keep Pantheon and Elise alive, basically.
So let me ask this before you guys mute yourself. You say that you're kind of the backup plan, but we're kind of getting to learn you guys because you are new and who you carry through. Obviously, Rutanium is fantastic, and he looked so good all the games tonight. Game number 1, Molten Axe on the Irelia just seemed to be destroying, and after taking down the Karma. So for Gertie and Snowsong, are you guys like Plan B, Plan C, or Plan D?
I think a lot of the time
question.
I think a lot of the time it changes depending on the game, because there are times when we're like, okay, we want to focus around bot side, or that kind of mentality. Just happens that these games were more focused around top and mid.
It's also a lot about the comp and what lanes we're into and things like that. There's a lot of different things that factor into it.
I like the answer. A lot of stuff to keeping things a little bit vague, and appreciate that for other teams not having the full inside knowledge. And again, the flexibility that you guys have by being able to play a lot of different styles. That is huge. So expecting good things from you guys in the future. Thank you for coming out and playing tonight. Congratulations on your win in week 3. We got 7 more weeks for you to dominate through and secure that first spot going into the midweight tournament coming up in week 9 and week 10. Looking forward to that. But thank you so much for coming out for that interview. Good to have you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. And with that, we're actually going to go ahead and pull Wraith in very quickly into here. Thank you so much, Wraith, for coming out and shoutcasting. It's been a blast as always. You want to send us out?
Indeed I do, Jake. Thank you, everybody, for coming out. This has been Excellency Shoutcasting. We'll hope to see you again on Thursdays for the free agent Scrim gyms, as well as throughout the week for our other events. Thank you for coming out, and we'll see you next week, same time, same place.